For astrologer, there are many stumbling blocks when it comes to giving predictions. We can divide them into the methodical one and psychological one. When it comes to methodical one, it means that we don't have the knowledge, or it's not complete, or we are a little bit confused. But for the psychological ones, just when we change the way how we frame the prediction can bring the big change. And yesterday on my walk with the dog, I just got this insight that it is very similar to the other process which we will discuss, and this will make the whole thing easier, because in the first one I was presented with the 4 options to choose in the career life reading. So that was the, we could say, inspiration for the whole insight. So we will be going through such 4 points which will slowly reframe the psychological approach to the predictions. Let's roll the intro and start with the first one. The first point related to improving our prediction is very important, because without this, we can easily break the legs. And for this to be understood properly, we need to also unpack 2 things. One is many levels in astrology, and the second is the rectification. Like you are going to a doctor for a diagnosis, and then you only get 1 blood data, and based on that, the doctor is diagnosing you if you have some serious disease or not. So as you can imagine, you would not continue with such expertise, you would rather go to another one. So when we talk about many points in astrology related to the one area, maybe not all knew this, is that we have few points in the chart which are referring, for example, to marriage. Like we have Venus, which is showing marriage, 7th Lord, Upapada, Darakarakatiti, and the Navamsha, 7th house, and all of them are basically showing the same thing, but from different perspective. Then the true prediction will consolidate all of these points and will intersect in such a way that all of them will make sense in that one story. And this is especially visible when we do this reverse engineering, and we are already analyzing the charts of people where we know what's going on in the relationship, for example. Then we will see that, yes, all of these points are exactly showing that story. So we have to connect them and try to create a prediction based on that intersecting meaning. Now, when it comes to rectification, is also reverse engineering process. Based on what we know, we are calibrating or choosing the ascendant in the secondary charts in such a way that it will make sense. And then based on that, we can use those proper placement to predict the what will happen in the future. This is similar to setting the lens out of focus. You are choosing 2 points, and then if you do that properly, then all other distances will mark the focus properly. So why we are so obsessed with the correct birth time, right? The birth time is not really important. What is important is the proper ascendant, because if you change the ascendant, then also all the positions of the planets and the houses will change. And what is interesting is that opposite concepts, like for example, being single and married, in our mind, when we think about their meaning, they can be situated in opposite places, right? And like in the peripheries of the meaning. But in the ontology of chart, how they are structured in the chart, they can be in adjacent houses. They can be very close to each other. Like single is 6th house, being married is 7th house. They relate to totally different concepts or situations in our life, but they are very close. So if you have wrong ascendant, then it will not be, oh, it's a few minutes, so it will be only a little bit wrong or right. No, it can be totally different situation, which then will impact very heavily the predictions. Therefore, we obsess about the correct birth time, because you can see the price is also high. Now, what other astrologers are doing wrong, or what I did wrong when I was starting the prediction, is that I'm just taking 1 point, for example, 6th house or 6th lord, and then I will say, oh, in this time, the relationship will not come because it's a time for being single, maybe time to reframe few concepts in life or do some internal work. But maybe that 6th lord is dispositing the 7th lord or aspecting somehow the 7th house. It can happen for Rahu, for example. Then other dashas which you ignored will also point to the 7th house. So then that 6th lord, which was on the first glance showing the separation can in fact give you relationship. So your prediction will be totally wrong because you ignored the other points. So the first lesson is that we should take few angles and compare them and consolidate the outcome, what they are giving, to what can really happen. And if you think about it, this is very similar to the process of rectification, because in the rectification, we are doing the same, right? For example, we know that person got married in that time, or bought the house, or started the construction, or maybe borrowed a big money from someone in that specific time. And then we see, oh, this Dasha is supporting that ascendant, right? But if you stop at this level, you can go wrong. So then we need to take another Dasha and maybe another one, and then see if all these three are pointing at the same box, right? Then we are sure that your ascendant is right. And you may see that after some time, you will get better and better at those predictions. You will get more clarity. You are sure that this ascendant is right. And then if you think about it, then this is also impacting your predictions, because basically you are applying the same conceptual basis for the predicting the future, right? The time direction is different. You are looking forward instead of backwards, but the methodology is basically the same. Of course, there will be cases which are more difficult than the others, right? In those charts, when we have many yoga formation that one planet can basically work for like 2 or 3 options, it will be more difficult. So this will definitely need more experience to do it properly, or maybe more the sense, right? This connection between the micro, macro. There is also this art part to it. We cannot deny. So if you are more in tune with those, let's call it Venusian and Jupiterian part of this rectification mastery, then it will get better and better. And as said, this will impact positively also your predictions. And by the way, if you are considering one or the other options in health, relationship, or career life, if you would like to get more highlight what is going on in my life, then you can find the link in the description for the consultation for 60 or 90 minutes on the Zoom. Now, the next point is also huge, and is also present in both rectification and prediction. Without that, it is quite hard, because we are presented with stack of symbols and stack of life events or facts, being static or dynamic, right? And then we have to combine those many elements. We have to bring them together, because there are many points. There is pros to this and cons to this, right? Pros is that it will click all together. So in some cases, using the static things to rectify the chart and also to predict may be better. And for other types, it will be better to use the dynamic. So the specific events in person's life to rectify the chart. Imagine you're doing some detective work and you have all these pictures, proofs, fingerprints collected, but you don't have a timeline. You don't know which thing happened first, who was killing whom in the first place, where was the revenge, what was the motive. You don't have that time order. Then it will be very hard, right? Because then you have to, as said, pick all those stacked things together and try to find the relationship with the correlating life situations. But if you could just take one thing and correlate that with 2 options, then that would be fantastic, right? Do we have that? Unfortunately, if we are only using transits, then again we are presented with the 9 planets, right? If we are using progressions, again 9 planets are doing that thing. But in Vedic astrology, we have dashas, and the dashas is the timing system in which only one planet is activated during a specific time. And then it is much easier, because if we know what has happened in the past, we can correlate it to that planet in the house, and then we can change this ascendant. And the same thing applies to the chart reading or the giving predictions. When we are seeing the chart and we want to say something about the chart, it may be so abstract because of the global feature of what you are doing, right? If you are just saying the combinations of the chart, the lordship, the curse, big yogas, right? This may be spread in different phases of your life. So by applying the Dasha, you are giving yourself that benefit of clarity that in this point of time, this planet will be activated. So if you're aspiring to be the Detective Columbo of astrology, just one more thing, apply the Dasha, apply the timing, and you will be much better off. Now, timing is fine, but let's go to the essence now. Finally, what is the innate feature of rectification which will help us in giving better predictions? You may say, yeah, but the astrologer is Daivagya, the one who sees, right? So there shouldn't be any methodological problems here. He should just have that intuition and close the eyes and make some tea procedures and some rituals in the full moon and get the picture in the head, deliver it to the client. But as Guruji said, it is much more safer when we filter out our intuition, or at least we correlate what we see with what is there in the chart. Then we are on a much more safer lane. All right, so what is the special reframing thing which is present in rectification and which makes that process much more comfortable than giving predictions? Of course, one thing is that we are looking at the back, right? So it's much more comforting. And what is the problem with the future, right? The future is open. So if we will reframe the open question to some specific categories, which will also correspond to what is there in the chart, then we can make a table, right? We can have option A, option B, maybe option C. And then we can see many, many points as we learned in the point one. And then these points will vote for those parties, right? One will support the A, one will support the B, and the other will support the C. Like, for example, there was a situation that the person is asking, should I now go against this boss, right? Should we open some case against the boss, right? And then we have seen that in the yearly chart, the current situation was the Mars, Ninth Lord and Eighth, which shows that the boss, out of anger, can fire you, right? In that, and you are exactly in that martial Dasha now, martial period. So then we said, no, it is better to wait till it will end. You are on much more solid ground. The other Dasha will change. And then if you want, maybe the situation, the sentiment also will change. But if you still want to apply, then you will be on much better standing, which will give you totally different result. Also, if your experience is showing that you are horrible with the rectification, then it's also good, because then you will know that, oh, maybe you should make a break with the predictions. Maybe you should learn a few more things. Maybe there is some bad habits which were accumulated during that learning phase and so on. And the last thing, there are questions, there are queries which are more open, which are more descriptive. And then this compartmentalize project methodology, this trick will not work, because there will be many options. But most of the questions, at least those who are useful, those who are very practical, we are able to divide them, to cut them in such a way that we can draw this table and make those votes with the levels of the chart. And as said, even better when we can divide it in such a way that it will sync with how the rishis were seeing the world through the chart. Okay, guys, so enough of theory. If you like to learn how to rectify Navamsha, then please consider watching this one.